Hey everyone, it's Meg. So it has been 2 months since I've been here on YouTube. Um, the last time I made a video was October 15th, and what I should have said in that vlog was that from the end of October to like January, our lives, Brent and I's lives, get really crazy. We do lots of traveling. We're gone a lot. I did not foresee, however, not being able to make a video for this long, but I have a good reason, and I'm actually going to tell you. So I'm just going to get right to it. Quickly, if you've been following my lap band weight loss journey, I will just go ahead and post below my weight because for the next couple of months I'm not going to be able to make any weight loss surgery videos because Brent and I found out that we are pregnant. Surprise! Bet y'all didn't see that coming because we sure didn't. So we found out November 20th that we are expecting our first baby. So I'm going to back up quickly. Brent and I, our families are in two different states. His family is in Wisconsin. My family's in Missouri. So we flip-flop and rotate the holidays. So this year we had Thanksgiving in Wisconsin and Christmas in Missouri with my family. So we left Monday the 19th and we drove halfway to Wisconsin. While we were packing the week previously, so that like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday before the Monday the 19th of November, I started feeling sick and I thought I was coming down with like the flu or some kind of cold. So I was taking NyQuil flu and cold medicine. 2 or 3 days later I felt fine, but I was trying to avoid from being sick because I didn't want to be sick while we were out of state visiting family. So really, hindsight, that was kind of my only real symptom of pregnancy, because everything else I pretty much was able to chalk up to like my period coming. I was having some mild cramping, and I started to break out a little bit, which both happened before my cycle starts, so I didn't think much of it. However, as we were packing, I then realized my cycle would be starting soon, and so I was armed and ready for battle. Brought my box of tampons and panty liners and ibuprofen for the cramps, and just my comfy stretchy pants. I was ready. I was prepared to be on my cycle while we were out of state. And then I realized like Monday that I was probably late. I'm a clockwork kind of girl, 28-day cycles, and ovulate on cycle day 14. However, I then realized that, oh my gosh, I have not been keeping track of my cycles for the last like 3 months. I had no idea what cycle day I was on, but I felt like it was coming around the corner. And then I was like, am I late? Am I not? So I kind of had this internal like, what's going on? And I was talking to Brent about it. And I asked him, I was like, do you think that I'm pregnant? And he's like, nah. I said, yeah, I agree. I don't think I am either. I really didn't. And then Monday came, and we were leaving Monday night, and still no spotting, no period. And so real quick, before we left, I was like, I'm going to get this pregnancy test because I just need to know. This is driving me insane. I'm positive I'm not. I'm positive I am not pregnant. And so I brought it, and I told him if we woke up Tuesday morning and I still hadn't even just spotting or something, I would take it just so I could know that I'm not going out of my mind. Still the whole time thinking I'm insane for bringing this because I know I'm not pregnant. Joke's on me. So Tuesday morning I wake up on the 20th in Lincoln, Illinois in a Hampton hotel, and nothing. So I tell Brent, I was like, hey, I'm going to take this pregnancy test. No biggie. Neither one of us were like excited, or I was so sure that I wasn't pregnant. Take the test. I sit it down, wash my hands. I start getting ready for the day, and I look down and I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I'm freaking out. And Brent's like, what's wrong? What's wrong? Are you okay? he comes in and I just show him the pregnancy test, and he's like, is this real? Are you sure? Can this be true? And I'm like, I'm pregnant. I don't know. This can't be happening. This wasn't planned. What in the world? We are just like floored, so floored. And he's like, well, let's not get too excited. And I was like, you know what? You're right. We should be very careful. I don't want to get my hopes up. He didn't want to get his hopes up. So I was like, go out and find a store and get a box that has 2 clear blue digitals in it. So he comes back with a box of clear blue digitals. And I take one, which would be my second pregnancy test of the morning, and turns positive. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like legit. We're for real pregnant. And we're just looking at each other like, how did this happen? This is insane. And he's just like, you're going to be a mom. I'm like, you're going to be a dad. It was just kind of this surreal moment. And then I realized that both of these tests turned positive really quickly. Like, super crazy fast. And I'm like, both of them say you have to wait 3 minutes to get a response. I'm like, did not take that long. So I told Brent, I was like, I'm going to take this very last pregnancy test, which now makes 3 pregnancy tests of the morning. And I timed it to see how long it took to turn positive. 40 seconds. It turned positive in 40 seconds. So 3 tests, all digital, all positive, all with that precious little word on the screen, pregnant. So there it was. We were pregnant, and you probably could have pushed us over with a feather. We just stood there staring at one another, and we were hugging, and I kissed him, and it was just this, we're pregnant. Like, we couldn't wrap our head around it at first, and I was like, what in the world? And Brent, we had this itty bitty like newborn size onesie that we had picked out to tell his mom when we were pregnant that says I heart grandma on it. And his first reaction was, we didn't bring the onesie. And I'm like, oh babe, but we didn't even think I was pregnant. So I then realized that there's no way I couldn't tell my family while we were gone for a week. I would have to tell them. So we agreed that we would call my dad first, and then tell his parents in person that evening, and then tell my sisters and tell his brother and sister-in-law when they got in town. So I called my dad first. He was the first to know, and that was just a really amazing conversation. It was just really special, and we just told him, Dad, we found out that we're pregnant, and he just sobbed. He just became a puddle of mush. It was really fantastic to hear him be so happy for us, and to share the joy. It kind of reminded me all the love and support we've had through all of these years of infertility, and then no longer trying, and weight loss journey to this day we found out we were pregnant, and it was just fantastic to tell him. I loved telling him. It was surreal. It was really just didn't feel real at all. But I was thankful to share the news with him. So after I got off the phone with my dad, and Brent and I were still like, oh my gosh, we're pregnant, we packed up and hit the road. We had 4 more hours before we would be in central Wisconsin, where his parents live. So we get to Wisconsin to his parents' house, and we had to wait a little bit for his mom to get home from work. But once she got home, it was really great and exciting to tell them. It was really kind of funny, though, because Brent's dad was watching a movie, and we were like, hey, can you just mute that for a second? And he's like, why? Or he's like, why? This is almost over. And we're like, just mute it for a little bit. We promise this won't take long. And he's like, okay. And then Brent's like, by the way, we're pregnant. And it was just, his mom was floating. I don't think her feet touched the ground for several days. She was just on cloud 9. His dad was crazy excited. And the really fun thing is, on his side of the family, his mom particularly, she has this like whoop thing she does when she gets excited or we have to celebrate something. It started because of this old-fashioned board game they have. It's called the Christmas board game. If you know what it is, that's insane because I don't think anybody knows what the Christmas board game is. But it's a really old board game, and at one point when you get so far in the game, you go whoop, 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 whoop. So Bev, mom, was making the whoop whoop sound and jumping up and down and hugging us, and it was just this like surreal moment that we got to share that we were expecting, and it was great. So after the excitement of that had calmed down, I called my sisters. Neither of them answered, but they all called me back in about 10 or 15 minutes, and my older sister called me back first, and she cried and was so happy and couldn't believe it. And then my younger sister called about 5 minutes after her, and same thing, just super thrilled and did the shut up. Oh my gosh. It was really great. Later that night when Brent's brother got in town, we told him and the kids and his sister-in-law, and it was a big celebration. The week of Thanksgiving was huge. We got to tell his whole family, his grandpa, aunts, and uncles. So it was really great. We came home a week later, and I had to keep it a secret from my family a little bit longer, because the only people in my family that knew were just my sisters and my dad. In the next video, because the next one I do will be right after this, and it'll be about my pregnancy so far and our first prenatal visit and the surprise we got in that visit. So yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for following my journey. Bye.